There are certain things one immediately recognises as being quintessentially German.
Lederhosen, Oktoberfest, the music of Wagner,
and a slight tendency to invade countries of Western Europe now and again.
Likewise, there are a number of classic motors that can be associated with the land of pork knuckle, autobahns, and creepy weird pornos.
But if you took everything good and bad about the German national character and shook it up in a box, a very, very large box, you'd probably end up with one of these.
If you were merely someone in the 1960s and 70s, naturally you'd buy a Rolls-Royce.
But if you were God, there's only one way for you to arrive in one of these, a Mercedes-Benz 600.
In 1963, the 600 took the motoring world by storm. It was the longest, heaviest, fastest, most expensive and most complex car ever built in Germany and possibly the world up until that time. In Australia, you could buy a large house in Sydney for the cost of one, and quite possibly go through it and out the other side if you gave it a long enough run-up. It had a stretch version called the Pullman with face-to-face seating in either 4 or 6 doors, a Landaulet version, especially for dictators.
Or if you were very rich and you had no friends at all, you could always opt for the baby short wheelbase version as shown here, which was only 5.5 metres long and weighed in a comparatively anorexic 2.8 tonnes.
In 1964, when production began and the world's press got hold of them, it was clear that the 600 was a limousine like nothing the world had ever seen. It had a stonking 6.3-litre engine putting out 300 horsepower, hydraulic boot, windows and seats straight out of a sadistic Hamburg dentist's office. It even had a bloody cocktail bar. A cocktail bar! There it is, if you don't believe me. Can you believe those Stuttgart engineers? They must have been dipsomaniacs. Don't drink and drive, by the way.
At the time of its release, the 600's competitors were rendered obsolete overnight. By comparison, the Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud looked like it had a thatched roof. The Cadillac's Fleetwood limousine needed a fleet of tugs to help it park or make turns.
The 600 could get from 0 to 60 miles an hour in about 9 seconds and up to 120 miles per hour. That's 200 k's. Not bad for a brick-shaped metal box that weighs about 3 tons with 4 passengers on board.
But if Rolls-Royce and Cadillac were worried about the 600, they shouldn't have been. Mercedes made only a few more than 2,500 throughout the entire run, and by the time production finished as late as 1981, they'd lost money on every single one.
88 of these 600s came to Australia. That's more per capita than Switzerland or Saudi Arabia.
The last few hundred cars were bought by Arab oil sheiks, master criminals and African dictators who mortgaged their country to the World Bank to afford one. The 600 was always regarded as a star car in its day, and it was beloved of Hollywood producers and directors who needed something imposing or sinister in their movies. In the last 20 years, it's actually acquired a kind of retro chic.
But if you wanted the equivalent of the 600 today, you would have to come here with nothing short than $1 million for one of these, a Maybach.
Then again, the Russian mafia tycoons and dot-com millionaires who actually would buy one of these probably have no idea that it has about as much taste, style and class as Britney Spears arriving intoxicated at a convent school prize-giving ceremony. And they probably don't care.
I'm Ben Wern.
I'm Jeff Burleson, and this is Top Gear Australia.